Welcome back, YouTubers, to our TNA Genesis review of us, the one and only, well, two and only, British Fist.
Coaching!
I am Mr. Parkin with my coach shirt on, another V-neck for you guys to check me out with, and NJ, of course, that lovely face, the face that draws ratings. It's NJ.
What's up?
Subscribe up above, like this video, and get your thoughts and opinions on Genesis down in that comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the box below.
So this was TNA's first pay-per-view of the year. We had a very good go-home show, so, you know, we had our high expectations going into this pay-per-view. The Impact Zone crowd was pretty fucking good tonight, weren't they?
I think they were definitely with the matches, they were with what was going on, so I liked it.
And that helped the overall feel of the pay-per-view, would you not agree? When the crowd is into it, kind of similar to Madison Square Gardens with Survivor Series. We opened up the card, which I wasn't too high on, but we got the X Division title match to open up the card. Austin Aries versus Jesse Sorensen versus Zima Ion versus Kid Cash in an elimination match. I feel this, just from the way this match went, that it warranted a higher spot on the card, but great way to open the pay-per-view, in my opinion.
Well, there's the debate of getting the crowd going, why not throw in a good match like this, but at the same time, with the importance this had compared to the next match, it was kind of the wrong place, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, but the match itself, I still thought was very. It got what 10.5 minutes. We had we had Zima Ion eliminating Cash, Sorensen eliminating Zima Ion, and then Zima Ion distracting Jesse Sorensen so Austin Aries could get the victory with a top rope brainbuster. So a good way to finish the match. So I did think this was a really good way to start off the show, and really shows why the X Division should be a prominent part of TNA's product.
I think it was a good opener because obviously it was a match that we were looking forward to. Maybe have Irons and Aries in the final. Maybe that'll happen in the future. But it looks like they're going to go down a Sorensen and Irons feud and maybe go back to Kid Cash and Aries. Hopefully not.
No, I think they'll maybe go in Aries, Jesse Sorensen personally. That's just the way they did the interference, probably going down that way. I just feel this maybe should have been higher up on the card because this was such a good match. And maybe a tad longer too, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with what I got as an opener. It really did get me into the pay-per-view. The next match was Devon versus Pope. Now, I think it's fair to say that we didn't really care about this match this much, but the fucking crowd sure did, didn't they? They were chanting, Devon, Devon, Devon!
Very behind Devon. The thing about this match is that it's been going on for a while now, so the build-up to it has been going on for quite a while. So I'm hoping this is going to be a big payoff match. Yeah,
this was essentially the payoff match, wasn't it? I mean, you got the nice video package, pre-match interview. You got a lot of these tonight, these video packages and pre-match interviews, which again adds to the pay-per-view, adds to the big match feel of it. You had Pope and the kids all blinged up, and yeah, you know, we're blinged up Pope maniacs.
Yeah, having the kids involved again, I think, yes, it was mainly to do with it because they had involvement in this, but I'm thinking they're concentrating on the kids quite a lot. But the match itself, it wasn't as bad as we thought. No, but it wasn't as bad as we thought. But the crowd were really into this match, and you had the whole sequence where you had the match leading up to the kids coming in, and then the kids sort of turning on Pope and signing with Devon. So this was essentially the payoff match at a Big 4 pay-per-view. I don't mind this because at least it ends this whole kids thing, in my opinion. I feel that they maybe not drawn this out as much as they could have, but I'm just generally happy this angle is over because I really never liked this Devon's kids angle to begin with. I think it all led because Pope actually started attacking them. I don't know why. I just thought maybe they didn't think they were going to do the job. Yeah. But again, I'm glad they did. They had that and the hug at the end. It kind of says, this is it now, we're back to family. And as the commentators called it, emotional ending. Yeah, I mean, as much as I don't like Pope losing clean to someone like Devon, I think Pope should really be pinning Devon clean personally. But the kids turned very quickly considering how they did it, how they've done it for the last couple of weeks now. But I guess Pritchard must have wanted it to end quickly. And this was a feel-good moment, you know, kind of the kids going back to their dad and everything. And a lot of people can relate to moments like that. So, you know, it's kind of, you know, it was a nice feel-good moment. Second match on the card. And the match itself, after the first one, it wasn't a bad match. I was somewhat enjoying what was going on in the match. It was good action. The crowd were with it. So, again, another good match. You could have argued this could have been the opener, really, couldn't you? Could have been as well, yeah. Especially with the feel-good moment. The next match we got was Gunner versus Rob Van Dam. Now, this whole segment was done pretty much to get Gunner over. And my God, did they go there big, didn't they? Getting Rob Van Dam to put him over, essentially. At first, it looked like it weren't going to happen because the ref stopped him from doing the shot in the first place. Then it went on, referee Ric Flair distracted the ref, and actually went onto the concrete. Quick DDT, nicely done. So yeah, Gunner doing the DDT on RVD, and then you had Gunner pinning him 1, 2, 3. It was a bit like, wow,
RVD's putting someone over, and then you have RVD the whole injury angle going. So you got going to putting someone else in the ambulance. With this injury angle, I do wonder, is he going to go to WWE now, or are they writing him off TV? Not really sure what they're doing there. But the main thing is, this whole segment was made to make Gunner look like a monster, and it achieved that 100%.
And the fact they had go against Rotterdam, one of the biggest pay-per-views, I think was a good choice, because Rotterdam is a big guy in the company. So having him put over Gunner was a big thing, I think. Indeed.
So it did achieve what it was supposed to achieve there, despite the match only going 7 minutes and being kind of similar to their Impact match. Oh dear, the Knockouts title match. Where do we start with this one, NJ? We had the whole thing with Velvet Sky at the beginning, putting Madison Rayne in a cage. What bullshit was that? Did that distract me from the match? That whole cage bullshit.
Well, before we get to the cage thing, it looks like that they're going to have Velvet Sky taking over Karen Jarrett's job and having her doing the Divas things that are wrestling, which I'm all for. And the fact that Sting allowed this to happen, it shows that he's agreeing with what's going on.
I mean, to be honest, with this whole cage thing, it was just so distracting and needless. And why don't you just ban her from ringside? And the match itself went about 6 minutes, and you had Mickie James, you had using the brass knucks and getting DQ'd. It's like, what a bad way to finish the match. I don't understand they're trying to further this feud, but goddamn, you have Madison who's finally not interfering in the match, and you have Mickie James hitting Gail Kim with the brass knucks. I hated this match. It was awful.
I can't really see much good in this, apart from, you see Mickie James, you picture her being a goody good shoes, and she ended up doing a heel maneuver, and I'm just thinking they should have maybe just Gail Kim the clean win.
Yeah,
they shouldn't need Madison Rayne.
Probably would have been a lot more satisfying, especially with Madison Rayne out of the picture. But it looks like they're going to drag this on. It looks like they've got a lot of mileage going for this feud, so I guess it carries on the feud. It's just that, it's such a bad moment, isn't it, on the pay-per-view? This was probably the worst match on the card.
The fact they continue after one of the biggest pay-per-views is making me think that they're really concentrating on this feud they've got, which I'm not going to complain too much about.
Yeah, and I expected this to be a very good match, so imagine my disappointment when it ended like it did. However, the next match wasn't a disappointing match at all. Abyss versus Bully Ray Monsters Ball match. Now, this is our first dose of seeing a Monsters Ball match on a TNA pay-per-view. Started off very slow. You had both no selling shit. Like, we ain't selling for you, brother. No, I'm not selling for you, brother.
The way I felt, Bully Ray did the whole heel thing, get out of the rings, trying to waste time. But the whole not selling, I'm guessing Abyss is okay with doing it, because obviously it's trying to get his monster out there. Yeah. But Bully Ray, not weak, but not the monster type, he could have sold it more. But again, the match did get better from there.
Exactly. You had, some of the spots these guys were in. This match was just, for these spots they did, this match was fantastic, wasn't it? You had barbed wire spots, you had tack spots, the black hole slam onto the barbed wire to end the match. Oh, God. These guys were bumping all over the shop, weren't they? And this is what made this match so good. Two big guys going at it in a match which you're probably only going to see once or twice a year. And the match itself, it wasn't like 5-star, but it was just really entertaining, the spots they were doing.
The thing I liked about it drew blood, so it had that effect. It had the storyline of what the whole joining Immortal thing, really joining, and the whole that Abyss wanted to go off on his own. Yeah. So this had some good story to it. The match itself showed each other's abilities, and I'm thinking that this was a great, just brutal spot match. Yeah, right in the middle of the card. I mean, perfect placing for this. It was a brutal match. Abyss gets the win, rightfully so in my opinion. Hopefully they're going to end all this Immortal stuff. So yeah, I think this is one of my favourite matches on the card. Kind of similar to that Bully Ray Anderson match they had at Bound for Glory. Just a really good hardcore match. Well, I would say let's hope that it finishes here, but throughout the night we do get to see more. We'll get more to that in a minute. Next on the card, we had our TNA Tag Team Championship match between Crimson and Morgan and Samoa Joe and Magnus. We know Samoa Joe and Magnus went through that wild card tag team tournament to get into this, where they beat 3 teams. The interview with Crimson and Morgan before the match was really good, wasn't it? That really got me fired up for this tag match. Crimson speaks, Matt Morgan speaks, they get their point across, sound like dominance, they say how great they are. It's definitely what they need, because obviously they've not been involved as much as the other... On the TV show, yeah, exactly. So this match went about 9.5 minutes. I felt it could have got a little bit more time, but during the match they showed the whole Bully Ray Abyss still fighting backstage, and I was like, could you not have saved that for a backstage segment after the match? That would have been a bit better, maybe. Well, to be honest, after the match they had, I don't really think they needed any more backstage segments, but it looks like they're going to maybe continue the feud on for, again, another pay-per-view, but who knows? Who knows, but this tag match, it was okay. The tag match was okay, it got a decent amount of time. Crimson and Morgan go over, and it's kind of like, you had Samoa Joe and Magnus really get built up quite well in this tag tournament. I really would like the feud to continue,
Whether the TNA could have done this, I don't know. But I don't mind Crimson and Morgan winning because they are essentially a dominant team, and they're trying to make them look like a force so they can face off later on, in a big match.
Well, the way it went, I enjoyed the tag match in somewhat aspect. They could have maybe gone along to add more into it. But I'm hoping somehow they find a way to make this feud continue because there aren't really enough tag teams going to make Matt Morgan and Crimson look like a dominant tag team. So somehow continue it.
The double choke slam and pin on Magnus gets the win for Crimson and Morgan. So there we go. Okay match, okay segment overall. And then we get to our two main event style matches. Kurt Angle versus James Storm. Again, another great pre-match interview with James Storm. His mic skills are just getting better, aren't they?
That was funny. They put the hat on and
He's interviewing JB. He's saying, JB, what do you feel like if you're going into a big match? That was some good shit, wasn't it?
It was entertaining because obviously they've had anything else going in the pay-per-view, so one had some entertainment, and here we got it. Yeah,
and we got a nice video package as well. The video packages did add a lot to these feuds. It really shows how the feuds worked. The match itself, what did you think to the match itself? It got, 14 minutes, which was shorter than their final resolution match. What do you think to the match overall, though?
Well, one of the stuff is at the beginning, it went pretty well. Angle did the whole heel thing again, moving around the ring, wasting a bit of time. But the match, again, built up, got better. There's a lot of action. You get to see both of them using their tactics. Again, I enjoyed how this match was flowing.
The storytelling was very good, wasn't it? Because you had James Storm trying to do the last call, Angle avoiding it. You had Angle trying to do the last call as well. You had Angle also trying to bring it into a wrestling match rather than a kicking contest, which I did feel was good storytelling. Essentially, though, after 14 minutes of build and a good match between these two, you had Storm going to get the last call, Angle pulling the ref in the way, and then Angle winning with his own crappy version of the last call. So it wasn't the best way to end the match. The finish didn't warrant the match itself, but the match was still decent. I just think this is setting up a rubber match against all odds with Angle winning. If I was doing this, I would have had Angle win the first match with James Storm having a concussion. That would have been a bit better. And then James Storm win this match and then lead James Storm into a feud with Bobby Roode. But I don't really know what they've got planned now. That's just what I would do.
The thing I look at this match, it was going all nicely. And I think that the ending let it down because it wasn't even like a big impact win. So it made James Storm, in my opinion, look a bit weak after a stupid kick from Angle.
Yeah.
But again, what I would have done to make, because it's one of the biggest pay-per-views, I would have switched the wins over so Storm could actually have a big pay-per-view win. But it looks like they concentrate more on Angle a bit here. But again, it looks like they're going to continue the feud. So hopefully more is going to come from James Storm.
And if they could still set up the rubber match as well, even if they did both those matches there. But I just think, like I say, it was a good match. It's just that the finish was a little bit unimpactful. But there we go. I mean, the thing is, you've had Angle lose to a concussed James Storm, and now you've had Angle win with James Storm's finisher in a match where he's fine. It just was a little bit weird, but the match was okay. The match was good for what it was. Just the finish was a little bit unimpactful, and I may have done it a little bit differently this whole feud, but generally happy.
Again, for a match I was looking forward to, it went well, but it let me down at the end.
Yeah, very similar to this next match. Bobby Roode versus Jeff Hardy for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now, the video packages and interview that they had with Roode, I feel, did a lot to make this feel, because there was a lot of time left, and they used that time well to really hype this match up and make it feel like the main event of all the video packages and interviews and stuff they had.
Well, throughout the night we had the Jeff Hardy won early in the night, Roode won next. It did build up to this main event. Having them both on mic, getting ready for their match, I did like it because they both set the stone for how important this match was to them.
Yes, exactly. And the match itself went about 20 minutes, and I thought the match, for me, was really building up quite well, and I did really enjoy this match. Bobby Roode was quite dominant in this match, so he was booked pretty well as a heel. The storytelling was okay. And to be honest with you, it was leading to a really good finish until Bobby Roode low blows the referee. And I'm a bit like, you see, I know they're trying to get Roode heel heat, and I understand what they're trying to do, but it's just it leaves a real sour taste in your mouth at the end of a big pay-per-view like Genesis, which has been flowing up to this main event very well.
Well, even though Bobby Roode stuck to what he said, he could do anything that was possible to win the match. He gave us hints that he maybe used a belt, he maybe just walk out the match. The way he stood there, I was thinking he's going to low blow Jeff, but he did it to the ref, so the ref was of course going to DQ him. And again, just like the match before, I was let down because I was thinking Bobby Roode could actually find a way to find a cheating way to win this match.
Yeah. like a cheap roll-up or something, just something like that. That would probably be better.
But then again, like I was predicting, this is a way to continue their feud while Storm and Angle continue theirs.
To be honest with you, I'm glad that Hardy hasn't won. I just hope to God this is setting up a Roode versus Storm match at Lockdown in a couple of months' time. But I'll tell you what, MJ, I'm just really glad Hardy didn't win because I did not want Hardy to win, and it continues the feud. It gets Roode heel heat. I didn't like the finish, but I can see where they're maybe trying to go with this. The match was pretty good, though. I did think it led up to the finish well until the finish actually happened. So the finish really left a sour taste in my mouth, but I still felt the match was good. So I'm going to say this was okay. Just the finish really bugged me a little bit.
Because you had Jeff Hardy continue to attack after, so you make the crowd happy that he's still there and on top and that. But again, the ending of the actual match was a letdown.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I agree with that. Your thoughts on the whole pay-per-view then?
Okay, I enjoyed it. It was flowing nicely. It had everything that we wanted to see. It had a bit of action, wrestling, good spots.
Had a good mixture, didn't it? Of X Division, hardcore, storytelling, all that kind of stuff.
I did feel it gave us what we needed to see in one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. And again, I was satisfied with what we got. But it's just the main match that we were looking forward to.
You didn't like both the endings, did you?
Not at all.
I must admit, I really did enjoy this pay-per-view. I thought the matches were pretty good. The only real bad stinker I thought was the Knockouts match and the way that was booked. The X Division match was really good. Abyss Bully Ray was really good. The tag match, okay. The matches are very satisfactory. The Gold Gunner thing did its job. Kurt Angle, James Storm and Bobby with Jeff Hardy were both good matches and were flowing well until the end. And I'd have just done things a little bit differently. But I was still pretty happy with what I got from TNA. Just the endings, maybe, of the last two matches, maybe left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth and maybe downgraded this pay-per-view a tad. But overall, I did think this was a great way for TNA to start off 2012. I really did. I honestly enjoyed this pay-per-view. Kept me entertained throughout. So I'm going to give this pay-per-view, and this is including these endings, maybe a B minus. I really wanted to give this a good grade, but the endings of the moment kind of really let me down slightly in the grading.
Because the way I see it is that the matches have all gave us something to look forward to on the future, going up to the next pay-per-view. So I like that. I'm going to give it, this just because the letdowns of the main events, a B minus.
Yep. I mean, that's a pretty fair grade, B minus. A good pay-per-view, but just some aspects just let it down. In that main event spot where it's so important to get it right. Do you know what I mean?
Improving, I would maybe have had, like I said, the Angle win the first one, Storm win this one. That would have gave me a improvement. The main event, if we gave Roode actually a cheat way to win. But again, that's just me nitpicking. The rest of the pay-per-view, thumbs up.
Yeah, and I feel with the whole James Storm thing, it may have been a bit better giving him a win at a bigger pay-per-view. It could have been a more defining victory. But hey, that is literally just us nitpicking. I did think the pay-per-view generally was good, so I'm going to give it a solid B minus. Probably more B minus because of that finish of the main event. But there we go. That's our opinions on Genesis. But what's important to us, guys, is that you let us know your opinions on TNA's first pay-per-view of the year in that comment section below. Give us your thoughts. Now, NJ, give us your thoughts and end this damn thing.
Well, people, hope you've enjoyed Genesis. All we can say is that give us your thoughts on each match and how you felt about it in the comment section below. And now all we can say is tune in for the next TNA show, because obviously anything could happen now, going into the next pay-per-view. And that has been it from the British Fist, Mr. Parkin, and me, NJ. Till next time, people. Goodbye.